All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the official Trade Talk channel where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries. How is everybody doing on this fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world? We're going to take a look at Bitcoin real quick as the stock market, is not open yet. All right, so Bitcoin, as you can see from the open, which is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here, was right there. That's basically, I just waited for a little bit and took a long entry there last night. Set my stop under that little swing low right there. And as you can see, that position is still open. This morning I woke up, noticed that we were inside of daily resistance. So I went ahead and took 70% of the position off, set the stop loss to break even. Today's news so far, what we have gotten is we've gotten building permits, which came in ahead. They were looking for 1.491. We got 1.496. So not really a whole big lead there, but still up nonetheless. Core durable goods. We were expecting a negative 0.1%. Today we got 0.6% in the positive. So this number and this number were both bullish numbers for the DXY, meaning the dollar. Also, you got this down here, which I don't really care about. The next news that we are going to be waiting for, and that comes out at 10 o'clock, is going to be the consumer confidence. So we'll go ahead and pull that up over here. You can see here that a higher than expected reading should be taken as positive / bullish for the dollar, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as negative. So far, we've gotten two news prints that were both positive for the dollar. Let me get rid of this stuff right here. Let's go ahead and pull up the dollar, see what it's doing. So this is the level. As of Sunday, we were wanting the dollar to get under. On Sunday, we were up in here. We did a members-only live stream. So during that live stream, basically what we were looking for is we were looking for the dollar to move up at the beginning of the week, the first day or two. So I did take a trade on Euro USD to the upside. I'm sorry, excuse me. I did take a trade to the downside on the Euro USD. That trade was positive. It did end up working out, but then it got stopped out. So basically what I was looking for was continued upside move after a weekly low was put in. What I was expecting was a push deeper into last week's move. So this day right here is last week's low. All right, that is your last week low. I was expecting for the first 2 days to be pushing down to come out and potentially take out last week's low and then move higher. But as you can see, it has not done that. If we go over to the weekly time frame, there is your weekly resistance. You are still in a slightly bullish trend. It is neutral to bullish, right? I mean, sideways to bullish. You are up on the year, so you are bullish this year for the Euro USD. All right, with that being said, you can see the yearly high is setting right there. That exact price on this exchange, which is Forex.com, is 1.10955. We are expecting a fresh yearly high. So that means ultimately we want the dollar to close lower. Now we got 3 days left on the quarter. So the third quarter will officially start in 3 days. And we want that dollar to close lower than its quarterly support. And that line is right there at 102.59. So let's go ahead out to the quarterly time frames. You can see what I'm talking about here. As you can see, you opened on the quarter on the dollar, moved down, took out last quarter's low, which was the first quarter of 2023, smoked that low, and then you had a bullish impulse, taking it above the yearly opening range. But as always, when we get up in there, we're watching it on a weekly basis. We want to see, do we get above the yearly opening range? Do we close weeklies above? And do we get bullish continuation? Because if that is the case, then you can make a case for the dollar being, bullish for the rest of the year, seeing how the halfway point of the year is over in 3 days. So what we want to see is we want to see this thing close blue. That is red for any of you guys that watch green and red candles. My green candles are up, blue candles are bearish. So we want to see this close blue or red on your chart. We want to see it close under last quarter's close, because that means you will have a trending candle. All right. There's only 3 kinds of candles. I don't care what you guys have heard of or looked on Google for hammer candles, doji candles, all those names. There's actually only 3 types. You have an inside candle, outside candle, and a trending candle. That's it. All right. And since we did take out this quarter's low, if we close bearish, that means you have a lower low and you're bearish on the quarter. Hence, you have a trending candle. It looks like the dollar is going to be going lower. What does that tell us? Well, that means we can look for longs on Euro USD anytime we get a pullback. Or, on the dollar's case, any pop to the upside will be looked to be sold into. On the Euro USD, it is the most correlated to the dollar at right around 59%. So it's not 100% inversely correlated, but it's like it leads up so much of the DXY basket that it pretty much is inversely correlated. All right. So if we are expecting the dollar to go lower, then obviously we expect the euro to go higher. The reason for this is not just technical analysis, of which I just laid out a fantastic plan for you, right? Fantastic. There is no objectivity in what I just said. Everything I just said is 100% accurate. And moving forward, the reason we're looking for this is because the euro zone still has really high inflation. So we are expecting the eurozone to hike interest rates. Hiking interest rates gives currency strength, just as it did in the dollar as they were hiking rates. But a lot of that was priced in when we had the bear market of 2022. All right, so moving forward, the trend appears to be happening. We definitely need to see a weekly close above that. I particularly do not like to see the move start at the beginning of the week, because I know that usually the first move of your weekly candle is usually the false move. Not always, all right? Everything works in trading, just not all the time. There's percentages to this. So there's a higher percentage rate that the first 2 or 3 days of the candle is actually, for the weekly range, is actually more than likely going to be the false move. However, I have seen candles open and then shoot straight up without moving lower. Here's a perfect example of one. So right there, that candle opened on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and did not even move lower. Not even, right? So it just went straight up all week. So although it does happen more than it doesn't, it still doesn't mean that it's 100%. So typically when this happens, what I go into this with high caution, if you will. I know that price can continue to go higher, but when it's into a resistance area like this, I have to play it very, very cautiously. However, with that being said, you can see here that Monday we have pushed up and we are moving towards the upside. So that is good. We want to see this thing break out and close above 1.09846. Why? Well, because Bitcoin is considered a currency because it's traded versus a currency. All right. It's not Bitcoin as its own element. It is traded versus the dollar. So you have your base currency, which is your Bitcoin, and then your quote currency, which is the dollar. So if this is Bitcoin versus Turkish lira, Bitcoin's probably trading at 100K by now because the Turkish lira is such garbage. But since it's trading versus a very, strong asset being the dollar, sometimes Bitcoin and the dollar will trade inversely to one another, not all the time. But as of right now, if we move over, you can see Bitcoin is pulling back, and it is pulling back pretty strongly away from that daily resistance. So what we will look for real quick before the market opens is an area of potential support. Where could that potential support be? As we know, this is the open. Price traded up during the London session. It traded right back down to the open. So if you would have just simply waited until 2 a.m. or the London open and waited for this candle to push down and get back above the open, you could have simply bought that and put your stop below the low of that candle. And if you would have been wrong, the next candle would have opened and stopped you out. All right. There's your 3 a.m. candle. So that's a pretty good indication that at least through the London session, you will be looking for prices to move higher. And it gave you 2 chances of a pullback there. You could have gotten long on either one of those 2 candles. You would be looking basically for price to push down to this bullish candle's open. You can see with my cursor and cross lines that it did not happen. So you would have had a front run a little bit. Anyways, moving on. What are we looking for today? Well, if the dollar continues to be bearish, which it currently is right now, it is down 0.38%. However, both of those news prints that we got were bullish for the dollar. You can see the dollar is still moving lower. So this right here is the low of day. You are currently working on taking out the low of the day. The low of the day is 102 spot 363. What do we got there? 362. So you did not take out the low just yet, but it is very close. And the fact that it's happening roughly right around 925 gives me a little bit of pause. Now, it can continue to go down. There you go. You just took out the low. It can continue to go down, but we do know that both news prints that we got and the one coming up at 10 o'clock, consumer confidence, we pull that up again, you'll see if this comes out higher, that will be 3 news prints that came out today that should be bullish for the dollar. So I'm not expecting the dollar to continue up all week. What I would like to see is the dollar to push up to roughly this area here and then roll back over for the rest of the week. So we could take that as Bitcoin may pull back, and it could pull back all the way down to the open of today. So since we had the breakout here, you can see that you have been making lower highs and lower lows. There's a lower high, there's a lower low. However, you just took out this swing high, but well, it is on a daily basis as well. You did make a higher daily time frame here. If I pull this up, you can see you did make a higher daily candle. So is this going to be the low? And are we going to see Bitcoin move to the upside? If that's the case, then what we need to do is we need to look for potential areas of support in Bitcoin. And as you can see with the volume here, the volume profile, it is showing a bit of activity up here. So people are indeed selling. You have a 30-minute support roughly around 35.65. If you are bullish, this is the area where you would want to see price stop closing below on a 30-minute basis. 15-minute, you're a little bit lower, right? 35.08.32. So basically what that means is you would not want to see 15-minute candles closing below that price. It could ultimately pull all the way back down to close to this and go higher, but in my opinion, it's just, it is what it is, right? We don't know what price is going to do. That's why we have these areas that we watch, because they're high probable areas. That doesn't mean that you're going to win 100% of your trades. That's where you have to manage your own risk. All right. So with that being said, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you guys for being here. As always, thank you for your time. I know everybody's time. That's the most precious thing that you have as an individual. It's your time, and I really appreciate it that you spend it with me. Thank you so much. Good morning, Mr. P. All right. Will Hurst says 30547 ? I don't know what that means. 30457. Let me just find what he's talking about here. Well, that's close enough. What happened? Why is it? Oh, that's why. 30457. Right there. Let me go through some stuff real quick just to see what he's looking at. I don't see what you're looking at, my bro. Could you be specific as to what that number is? Because it's not an hourly support or resistance. It's literally nothing from what I can see. I mean, I guess one could argue that it's this bearish candle's wick. So I mean, there's a lot of people out there that call, with the inner circle trader. He's a very popular guy. So according to him, price would need to pull back to this candle's high right there to close this, whatever it's called. That's bullshit. It doesn't have to happen because this price already traded up through there. So this area of price has already been traded through. Okay. Now, if you were at fresh all-time highs and pulling stuff like that, then yeah, I would agree with him. But when price has been trading in this area for multiple days, then no, you don't necessarily need to see that gap fill. Will it? Yeah, sometimes. Like all strategies, everything works in trading, just not all the time. So once again, that's where you have to manage your risk. You don't take very high, leveraged positions unless you know how to manage your risk, or at least unless you're watching price and you're able to exit that position immediately if it doesn't go your way. Because once you get up there in high leverage, a small tick to the upside, if you're short, could pretty much take you out. You don't need a 100% move to take you out. All you need is a 70% move to take you out. So if you're up to 70x leverage, a 70% move, you would be stopped out. I mean, you'd be liquidated. Your whole position, everything that you hold on the exchange would be liquidated. So I suggest you use lower leverage. I took that position. I took a short position on INJ USDT yesterday. Why? Because there was a lot of buying going on at the high of the day, or at the last week's high, right? Right in here. So I posted a tweet about it that so many people were buying up here. This changed, but at the time I posted the tweet, there was a ton of buying going on up here. All right. And it was all blue. So that indicates that they are all buy orders. So I was looking for a short. And you can see that short trade, it was on this day maybe, or this day. One of these days, I took a short trade at last week's high and it ended up paying off. And I was levered up to 20x. As the platform that I use, that's the highest leverage it would allow you to do on this. Now, that position has since been taken out, but I made 48% on the trade. So, and that's on the entire amount of liquidity I hold on that specific account. So on the USDT margin futures account, I made 40%. So yeah, not a bad trade. Why? Because it was at a very important level. That is the, something is wrong. Because it was at like around 10 o'clock in the morning. What's going on here? Let's go see what's going on. Right here. So there, tons of volume, traded up above last week's high. A lot of buying. See this? All this blue here? That indicates that there's more buying going on from $7.30 up to $7.50. So mostly buy orders. Price did go up and make a fresh daily high, but that's where I ended up shorting. So I must be looking at this on the wrong thing, because you can see here there isn't a wick above last week's high. Was that yesterday? June 26th. So that's here. That's June 20. Yeah, it's here. So this is the area right in here. See all that buying? Basically shorted it, took profits down in here. I took profits on this candle right here. Why? Because that's support. That's your lowest closing 30-minute candle. So as price traded back down towards it, I took profits. Being levered up 20x, it was a nice freaking trade. But it was bullish. It is bullish. I don't like to short stuff that's been bullish for several days in a row like that. and it's screaming to the upside. As long as Bitcoin is screaming to the upside as well, a lot of these cryptocurrencies will do the same. However, it was a test of the area. That is why I took the short trade. High probable entry, ended up working, good to go. So now we don't really have, as far as high probable entries go on Bitcoin, that high probable entry would be that the short into daily resistance. But since Bitcoin is bullish and has been bullish for a while, we had 3 days of a pullback too. That's important, right? That's why I bought at the open yesterday, because bearish day, bearish day, bearish day. This day closed lower, tagged your Heath level right there, or what we call supply. That's actually demand, my bad. But anyways, ticked that and closed up here. So I bought it there, boom. And it worked out. So we have made a higher high on the daily, but this is an important level that price needs to close above. All right, it needs to close above there. Let me see what he said. 30547. Oh, okay. I read it wrong. 30547. What is it? 12-hour support. All right. Appreciate it. That's helpful instead of me going through everything. 12-hour support. That would be support there, bro. That's support. The bearish closes are support. All right. So this one, yeah, that one. Could it hold as support? It's possible. The thing is you got 3 other closes under it, right? It is an old support, and it was tested as resistance here and here. So yeah, it is a good area. It could hold. It's definitely higher than an hourly. The higher time frames do hold a little bit more weight. The problem is I mean, this is a higher move, but this is kind of what we're looking at, right? So we kind of, what we want to really see is like that hold, right? Something like that. If you use the bearish candle, pretty much as long as you don't close below the open today, you will hold. But it is important. That could still end up being a trap, because the next 8-hour session could blast down. So we have to be careful right here. But, you know, Bitcoin overall is in a bullish trend. It's just at the top here for the last 4 days. It's literally been trading sideways. So we could have a potential breakout here. So yeah, watch that price, man. You can watch it on hourly closes or 30-minute closes. You have a 30-minute close right there. So yeah, I like it. It could be support. But if you do get a 30-minute close under it, then you're going to want to scrap that entry. Also about buying Bitcoin, like even though that I bought today's open, even though I bought that, it's still me buying at the highs, because look at the price that I bought at. Well, this right here, that's your open. 270, $30,000, 270. The high is what? $31,000. So I'm like right at the highs, taking long positions. That's not typically the way you want to do it. But we did get a pullback that lasted for 3 days. So yeah, let's see what happens. 10 o'clock rolls around. We'll see what's going on. Let's see what we got today as of right now. BDTX gapping up really high. What is this thing? Black Diamond Therapeutics. It's showing me the average volume, but it's not showing me how much volume or how many shares in the float. That's a lot of volume to be trading today. It's the volume leader. Volume gainer. So more volume trading in this today than anything else so far. Earnings good, but the chart looks like garbage. Tesla's the second leader. No, it's not. Why does it show it's the second leader when this clearly has more volume traded than that? Tesla's doing good, pulling back. That's what we want to see. Did you close the gap? Not yet. But it doesn't mean you have to because you didn't close this gap down here. You can see this didn't come down and fill that gap. So, but this gap being up on the highs would probably more than likely get filled. You're trading into the 21 almost. So, yeah, I don't like the way it's trading today. But it did tag shit. It did tag support on the open, which is just simply yesterday's close. So just look how easy that is on yesterday's close. Right there's the open. So on the open, you traded down to yesterday's close, and then you're slowly pushing higher. But that's not like really good momentum on the open. This is the kind of momentum you would rather see on the open, but you can see how it ultimately sold off. It's yesterday. So pretty much had a nice move to the upside and then traded down all day yesterday. So we'll watch 234.86 when it gets down there, then we'll think about it. Lucid. Why is this thing trading today? I mean, it's not that many. Open pushing lower. So 565 would be an area I might be interested in buying. I wouldn't be a buyer on this. I would be waiting for swing highs and then sell it, because it's more than likely a sell. I mean, it is a sell. If you're trading under yearly opening range and you're making lower lows, which you are on the year, it's a sell. Yeah, sell. Analyst rating, almost a buy. One-year price target, $8. They're not profitable. All right, revenue is 149 million. Their net income is negative 777 million. So they got to get above 777 million to be positive. Bitcoin's trading lower here. Damn, it's almost, no, I moved that line up. That's not the daily open. That's the level at which he was looking for, 35.47. See, you're getting a nice push through there. Where's the DXY? It's up 0.41%. So the DXY is still going down. So watch this price. Let's see here. What am I on? All right, let's go back over to USDT and I'll just buy it again, as that'll bring my cost basis up. The dollar is making lower lows. See that? But that doesn't mean anything. Bitcoin could just be weaker than the dollar. But it's not, right? You're up 1%, whereas the dollar is down almost 0.5%. So let's go ahead and just use 50% of the open P&L here and just hit the buy button. I brought my cost basis up to 34.88. And then I'll just put my stop loss right around that price, because I've already, like I said, I already made 41% on that trade. This was a lot of leverage. It's a small account. I moved all of my funds off of Bitget and I only left a small amount on there. So yeah, I went ahead and bought it. My position is setting at 30448. That's because my cost basis, my entry was at the daily open. So it brought my cost basis up to 30488, roughly in here. But Bitget's price and Bitcoin's price are slightly different by about $7 or $8 right now. Not bad. Profit target would be automatic, fresh daily high would be a profit target. And then you would just move your stop to break even if you did want to take that position. So the dollar's still trending lower as long as it stays, higher than 0.35% in the red, and Bitcoin should be able to catch some bullishness from here. Let's see if we got any buying going on. We know there was a lot of buying down here. There was also pretty close to the same amount of selling. Yeah, I mean, here we can actually get the numbers on the day. So your 2.45K bid, 2.12K ask. So you do have more buying than selling. That's just orders, right? That doesn't necessarily mean price is going to go up just because there's more buying going on. All right. It's hard to explain. I mean, demand is what makes price go up, but it can take days and days for that to happen. But I do like the fact that it got a nice pop. I just wish it would have been today, which it kind of is today, but it started yesterday. So not really what I wanted. So could this be the low of the week? Right here, could that be the low of the week? It's roughly right around 30K, so it absolutely could. If there is demand at 30K. I mean, you closed above weekly resistance here. But it being Tuesday, you could also put in the high of the week today and then roll over and then come back for a midpoint check of last week's candle. So let's see what it does. We don't need moving averages set on a 5-minute time frame. That's for damn sure. And that is that 12-hour old support. But see, that support didn't hold very good, bro. The next 12-hour session, it did. You had a nice push up, but then the very next 12-hour session, boom, down and closed under it. It did act resistance there. So we'll see if it acts as support here. I mean, that trend line is also coming in there roughly. But the trend line would put you roughly around 30447. And I would expect buying to go on there. Because this is a nice push. But it pushed right up into resistance. That's hard to buy that so close into resistance. Especially a daily resistance. But the trading day just got started. For anybody that's not in America, if you do want to trade the inverse swap contracts the way that I do, like I use the USD futures and then USDC futures, but the main account is the Coin M futures. That is where you can just simply take Bitcoin out of your cold storage, move it over to your wallet on Bitget, transfer it from spot to the coin M futures, and you can trade with Bitcoin. And if you're a profitable trader, that means you can accumulate more Bitcoin without actually buying it. So you can trade, and if you're profitable on a trade, you get paid in Bitcoin. If you're wrong on the trade, you lose Bitcoin. So you want to keep that percentage roughly, depending on how big the account is. Obviously, that's something, but if it's a small account, like $100 or something, then risk 5 or 10%. Who cares, right? It's $100. $100, you can put another $100 in the next week. It's not bad. But if you want to save the money, only risk a little bit amount. But you won't grow it as fast, especially since you're up here at the highs. If you're getting long, right? You need it to break out and go to buy it here. But if you look at older places of consolidation, you do get sometimes masterful moves like that, right? Consolidation sideways at the high, at resistance as well. This was resistance. This was 2 week support. It was a massive level. And then boom, see ya. So kind of got the same thing going on here, but it also kind of looks like this too, right? Or you did get a nice move up here and then. So just be careful, mind your risk. Not every trade is going to be perfect. Not every trade is going to work. I will not be a seller. You're still in overbought regions. It's not necessarily the area you want to buy. But like when I do it, it's more for a day trade. I'm talking about for you longer term people, the ones that are looking to be in like a trade longer than a week, a trade like a month or something like that. You definitely, buying it at the highs is not really what I would say to do. But there's your monthly candle. It is definitely a bullish engulfing, and there's 3 days left on that close. This would be a fantastic place to look for support next month. So in July, a trade or a move, a wick back down to 29,247 would be fantastic for an opportunity. As long as that area holds a support, you can see that you are getting back above the midpoint on the 50 on the monthly time frame, which is good. And just looking at past performances, they're not indicative of future results. But basically on Bitcoin, every cycle, every bullish phase that it's had, once it breaks above the trend line, the bear trend line, it's been bullish to sideways ever since, right? There's a video out saying that the halving is not the purpose of Bitcoin's moving higher, that it's based on just basic things like the S&P 500 and everything. It trades as a risk-on asset, which is true. It has ever since it's been around. But the claim that the halving has nothing to do with the bullish impulses is a little bit grandiose, in my opinion. That's a little bit ballsy, no matter what data you have to back it up, because data can be misconstrued. You can definitely make your case look better using data. So if the 4-year cycles is the S&P 500 on a 4-year cycle plan is like Bitcoin, I would argue no. You know what I'm saying? I would say no. We know that Bitcoin had its halving. Last halving was in here, roughly. I don't remember exactly which month it was, but it was in this area, 2020. So you can just simply go back to the S&P 500, 2020. After the pandemic, price just went higher. So after the pandemic on Bitcoin, price went higher. So yeah, it is because of the federal bank, the Fed, buying assets and stuff like that created the bull market for all risk assets. What the hell is that? You can see we're looking for the S&P 500 to break out here, roughly. We'll put it like that. After a multi-day pullback, you're coming into an area of potential support, but I wouldn't hold it based on the 21 exponential moving average only. I would wait for at least a wick to 42.88 before I'd buy it. Simply because that is a price of which did act as resistance. So that's the price that I would look for. A pullback too, but it could hold here, right? It doesn't have to pull back. You're testing the midpoint of last week. You just opened and had a push down on the weekly open, so maybe it finds support and goes. If it makes a higher weekly high, like if it gets above 43.67, then I would say it's probably going to move higher for the rest of the week. But the same could be said about this low, because this is your weekly low as of right now. So back to Bitcoin on the 5-minute time frame so far. Mr. Will's 12-hour support is kind of sort of holding for now. We need more demand, and I would definitely love to see the dollar continue pushing lower. The fact that it's pushing higher now, not really that great. See that? They don't trade inversely, though. I mean, the inverse correlation is almost nil. It has been for a while. Bitcoin's been doing its own thing. It's been trading on its own basis, based on the good news, obviously, that we got a few weeks ago. BlackRock ETF and all that. But big moves up also bring in a lot of selling, a lot of profit taking and whatnot. New short sellers trying to jump on it. Good morning, says Dean Vans. I can't pronounce that, sorry. Good morning, traders, says Cassidy. Curation, when you get to it, could you take a look at XRP and LTC? Yeah. Yep. Haven't heard anything on the XRP front yet. We'll look at Binance. As far as the lawsuit is concerned, but you can see there you got some resistance holding it down. This is a daily time frame. You definitely want to see it pull out of here today or tomorrow. You want to see it get back up to 50 cents in the next couple of days. Otherwise, you could see it continue lower. Because here is a tag of monthly support right here. Monthly support is 0.4709. So you did get that pull back into it. Then you get a bounce. However, that bounce was a lower bounce. And to continue a bullish trend, you want to see when you have your pullbacks. Notice here you are, first time you get down here, break down under it. Then you come back to it. Notice how it acts as support for multiple days. Then you break out. That's what you want to see. You want to see a higher high. You don't want to see a push up into resistance, then a pullback, then a lower high and down. So as long as it's trading above monthly support, you could potentially look to be a buyer, but it's obviously losing bullish momentum. Yeah, you can see there, that's the hourly. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, you're losing momentum. So, I mean, it's in an area where it could bounce, but it's also in an area that momentum could expand, or volatility. Momentum and volatility are almost the same thing, right? This is a measure of volatility. So if your volatility is on the low like this, you would want to see a volatility expansion as price expands to the upside. If you get a volatility expansion as price, continues lower, then that could be bad. See how this volatility expansion occurred right through here? Big down candle there. But it is at monthly support, so it could bounce here. You would want to see it happen in the next couple days. So demand, you did close under demand, but you didn't close under that daily support. And you did not test it today. But, you know, your moving averages that would construe that you are still bullish, prices under them. So if this is going to be a bear trap at support, you would want to see in the next couple days expansion to get back above the moving averages. Then you could say you could see a next retest of that quarterly resistance. See? A nice pullback on Q2 for XRP. You didn't get that on Bitcoin. Well, you did, but it moved up. So if Bitcoin is the leader, maybe XRP bounces right where it's at. Right? If this is going to be a bear trap. All right, here's your last 2-week closing candle. Notice you're trading under it. 5 days left on this close. You want to see it close back up. That would be good. On the weekly, you're beautiful as far as holding support. This yellow line needs to get above that green line. A lot of people are going to call this a double top, but it can absolutely blast off from here. So watch that price, bro. 10.4709. You could even look to buy it if you get a retest of that. If you do, put your stop below this swing low. Right there. So that would be like a 3-to-1 risk to reward. If you buy here, stop there, all the way back up to that. Not a bad trade as far as risk to reward is concerned. Not at all. But if Bitcoin rolls over, this will likely do the same. And then Litecoin. I don't like Litecoin, and I'm going to give you a reason why right here. Litecoin, even though we had the biggest bull market in 2020 from the pandemic to November 2021, asset prices went straight up. Bitcoin, everything, right? Everything made fresh, new all-time highs, except this asset. This asset did not make fresh all-time highs. Well, it did on that. Congrats. On the other exchange I was looking at, it didn't. It didn't even make fresh all-time highs. But even here, like everything else had multiples of percents above their all-time highs. So what that means is Litecoin was inherently weaker than all the other assets. Now, with that being said, it is holding a multi-month support. Multi-month support. So 88,271. Now, obviously, you could get a push back under it there because there's that monthly wick low all the way down there. But it's nice to get back up there. On the daily time frame, it's bullish and it looks like it's trying to break out. So it could. It's wedging up. You typically want to look for a breakout either to the upside or the downside. Yeah, if I put it from there, it wouldn't line up very good. There goes Bitty Boy to the upside. Nice call on that support, Will. Nice call, brother, man. Nice freaking call, dude. So start taking profits now. If you took the entry with me and Will here, go ahead and start taking profits. Take at least 70% of the position off. That's a good call because you're getting ready to make a fresh daily high, and upon making a fresh daily high, you could roll over. It's just a risk, right? This is the area where we want to see price close above today. So if we get bullish continuation for the rest of the day, then whatever position you leave on will continue to grow, obviously. Nice freaking job. See, on the Bitget, oh, look at that. There she goes. It still could be a lower high up here. But, you know, that trend line suggests that it's broken out. So your bull flag, typically look for bullish moves. I'm going to go ahead and take that 70% profit off at 308.45. No shit. It just closed above it. Damn, it's going. It's just rocking and rolling. 309.08. Take profits 309.08. Let me get over here. Get this off. Take profit 309.08. Where's price right now? Price is at freaking 3163. All right, so let's change it. Fucking A. Keep going, boy. 3165. 70% of that. It should go now. What the hell? Take profit 30165. We're at 3. Oh, we're at 304. Wait, where are we at? Current price 30902. 309 308.99. See if that works. I did enter the quantity, you piece of shit. 70%. 308.76. 308.76. The amount, I want 70%, please. There. All right, so let's see if it ticks up. Come on, tick back up for me and get me out of the position. Because as of right now, it says I'm up 133%, but I'm not. All right, so that move up just took me out of the position. So nice. Nice call, Will. Yes, sir, baby. Beautiful, beautiful. That puts today's gains since I bought the low. And then as Will brought that out, I decided to take the long position. It brought my cost basis up to here. So this push higher right there at the leverage that I'm using was an insane gain. So lovely, lovely. So we were like at 100% hit rate this week on the Euro USD trade. And then today's Bitcoin trade, both of them. So I took profits on the initial entry this morning when I woke up, and then I just reloaded up, and boom, there it goes. Nice work, man. Nice work. That is not the daily open. That is a 12-hour support that Mr. Will found. Good job. You are learning, my friend. That is fantastic. I didn't even see it. I rarely look at the 12-hour. There it is. Look at that wick. Straight to it. Later. Go, Bitcoin, go. Hell yeah. Loving it. I could quit trading for it's just Tuesday. And I'm 3-0 on trade entries. Good stuff. All right, so while we're in this position, we got our stops set at break even or higher. Bitcoin just absolutely skyrocketing to the freaking moon here today. It's fantastic. It's up 2%. It was almost, that's a whole percent plus 40. So 1.4 higher than it was when we took the entry. So do the math. Leverage, yeah. Each 1x. Yeah. Fantastic stuff. Good call, Will. That's the way to do it. And there it goes. Okay, so another asset that I am currently long in and I'm watching for it to roll over is Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. And you can see that it has. It's been trading at the yearly opening range for multiple days. Here's a test during June the 8th. Then you had a test here on the 13th of June, then the 22nd, then the 23rd, then the 26th, and today. And finally, now you're starting to get a downside push. But it's still considered bullish, but it's losing its bullish momentum, which is good. I mean, did you get a higher close than that? You did right there. So that is technical bearish div on CAD Swiss. Now I'm long from this price right there, 0.66390, because I just simply bought daily support on this day here. Or was it this day? I can't remember, but I'm long from that price. I'm still long. So I'm kind of thinking about taking that position off, and because I've already taken profits on it. So as long as it's trading sideways, it's not really amounting to nothing as far as P&L wise. So I'm thinking about closing it and reopening a new short. So we got 3-day res right there. So tomorrow, let's see what the weekly looks like. Looks like you may potentially have a weekly high in. Oh, but that could act as support. This is old weekly res. You see that test? Here, let me just get a new one. There. Look at that push. Right into it. So we'll see here. We'll give it a day or two. 3-day resistance could be a potential entry right here. But you don't want to see hourly closes above it. So this could be a potential short trade. This is where you want to look for a potential profit target. Right there. So if it trades back up into here today or tomorrow, watch it. Make sure it's not closing hourly candles above it. And then look for an entry. Target 67719. And that's based on Swiss franc strength, not Canadian dollar weakness. We're looking for Swiss franc strength. It's not strong today. So that means Canadian dollar is weaker. Yeah, CAD's pulling back. So that's what you would, like an accumulation formation when you make higher highs, but they're not like very big highs, insignificant highs, I call them. But I mean, it got a nice push. Technically, Canadian dollar is bullish. There's your yearly opening. There was your yearly high, yearly low, and boom, fresh yearly high. Now you're having bullish continuation. So technically the asset's bullish, the Canadian dollar, but we were looking for Swiss franc. Bitcoin is collapsing. That is why you take profits. Remember what I said. It made a fresh daily high and can absolutely get sold off there because we are into resistance. That's that 10 o'clock news. Just what? It just was good, and then now it's not all of a sudden. It's 10 minutes ago. 13 minutes ago. Where's the actual... Shit. I gotta go back to the economic calendar. I guess I deleted it. Man. We only want 2 and 3 star. Apply. So let's see here. The 10 o'clock one right there. That's bullish for the dollar. Consumer confidence. And I mean, this doesn't look like it's rolling over, right? If you were looking for not inflation, but if you were looking for a recession, you would want to see a trending lower, not trending higher. It's really not trending higher either. This is 5 years of data. It's just barely lower than it was back in here at the peak of the bull market. So it's not super low. There's 2020 we want. So right there, April, May. That's when the pandemic lows were in, right? So 85.9 is roughly where you'd want to see it to be considered inflation. And it's not, it's going higher. Positive bullish for the dollar. So DXY has had 3 bullish things today, 3 bullish news events, and we could have just set a weekly low on the dollar, and it just happened to be at weekly support, for fuck's sake. All right, that's not good. Not good at all. I need to see it hold here. It needs to hold here. It's okay still. I mean, I want to see it hold there and continue lower for the rest of the week. That would be good for Bitcoin. Now, for you guys out there that want to short Bitcoin because you think Bitcoin sucks and it's going to 0, or if you follow Capo and you think it's going to 10K, right? If you follow those guys, those bearish guys, we're going to have a recession. It's inevitable. Bitcoin's going to 0. It ain't worth anything. Then you would be basically looking to short it rightfully right where it is, right? Now, you are shorting a strong asset, but 38.56 could be a short entry, and your stop would be the high of day, which is this candle right there. So you would have sold it there, stopped there, and you're looking for it to go at least back to 12-hour support, would be a 2-to-1 risk to reward. That is if you even get a tag of that. But I'm not short. I'm holding it long. Up nicely on the week. If I get stopped out, price comes down here and stops me out of that position, that's okay. I'll just look for a new one. NZD JPY. Not on the watch list. Let's go get it. So yeah, I wouldn't short it because Japanese yen is weak. The BOJ is essentially not going to do anything, right? So as long as they're not going to do anything, then that means investors, look, Japanese yen it's bearish. It's bearish. We wanted it to stay above this, and if it didn't, then we should have closed that USD JPY short right there. Right, once we made a fresh yearly low. So on that candle, I should have closed that short position. Because the BOJ is not going to do anything. And we got that news right in here that they were not going to do anything. So we're not going to do anything. It's going to go right back down to the lows. So it's not necessarily, because look at the strength on New Zealand. You're only up 0.04, not 0.4. That's not very good. The only reason it's going up is because it's versus the yen. And you're at highs. You're at yearly highs. You're at long time highs, like back in 2015. So nah, I wouldn't be looking to short it. But I wouldn't buy it either because it's at the highs. I mean, the buy was here at support or the yearly open here, right? Those are the areas to buy. You just can't do anything with it. Now, if it closes back under that resistance, then maybe. But that means the Japanese yen at least needs to have a bullish pop for a little bit before I'd look to short it. I mean, if it closes above this line today, the short is off the board. Because you're going to be squeezing folks. Next monthly high or next liquidation point is this candle here. Roughly 89, 189. Looks like a breakout to me, bro. I don't think I would be shorting it. So if you want to buy it, you got to wait for a pullback into old resistance. There's old resistance right there. So maybe a pullback into 86,946, but that's still very close to the high. That already happened. There's where it happened, and you've gotten bullish continuation since. If you're looking at bearish divergence, then maybe, which you are, well, it depends on how today closes. If today closes where it is or lower, you will have bearish divergence on the daily. But bearish divergence doesn't always play out. Keep that in mind. But it is a technical signal. You don't have bearish div on the weekly. Weekly bearish divs are much better. Much better, in my opinion. Right, we called the weekly divergence on Bitcoin. Remember that? I made a joke, like the I see dead people, little boy. I see divergence. And it was right there. Let me get that shit out of the way. So from this low here to that low there, clear divergence. And up she went, baby. Right? Sideways for multiple weeks, but boom, up. So weekly divergences are better, but daily divergences play out too, obviously, or it wouldn't be a thing, right? So back to Bitcoin intraday for you, like I said, you shorts out there, you bearish folks, because I know not everybody that listens to me is bullish on Bitcoin. That's your entry right there, the top of that 5-minute candle. It's based on that 5-minute supply. That's your entry. Your stop is above the daily high. And in order for that to be a 2-to-1 risk to reward, price would have to go, well, it wouldn't be quite a 2-to-1, but it's close. 1.95 to 1. All right, 1.95 to 1. However, if the dollar does find resistance where it's at, like it's doing, whoop, whoop, look at that. Oh, yeah, baby. You're going to get stopped out of that short on Bitcoin. Be careful, man. We are looking for dollar weakness. And we're pretty good here. If you're new and you don't know what I'm talking about, we're pretty good here. We're pretty accurate. I mean, that's the area I wanted to see it go lower, and it currently is. Will it stay like that? I don't know. Can it pull back there and go up? Yes. All right. It's just, that's the area we want to see it close lower. What's up, Tom? Just had a big beat at 10 a.m. New home sales. Yeah, that's bullish, man. It's bullish for the economy. It's can do AMD for you. Buy at 101. Man, I missed a lot of comments, obviously. AMD, please, says around mountains. Yep, let's do it. AMDZ. It's pulling back because it had a flawless run from the early opening range. It was up over 100%. It's pulling back into a daily support. at 105.82. That is the price at which I said I need to see it hold as support for potential bullish opportunities. Nice pullback on that weekly expansion, that momentum even. Straight up, that's good. Hit oversold, come down, pull back. Beautiful. Where's it at on the weekly 21? Freaking marvelous. You've even got expansion between the 21 and the 50, which is nice. Yes, buying opportunity in a day or two. However, your gap is filled. So this is the last bullet or bearish close in this uptrend. So it doesn't have to go there. You could literally watch 107.97 for potential buys, because that's daily support. There's your close yesterday. There's your open today. A 9:30. Here's your open, and notice how it's been struggling here. Yeah, I mean, if even for a day trade, I like this. 107 to 109, that's a $2 gain. So if you buy options on that, the intrinsic value would be $200 on every position or every contract you buy. Just because it's a $2, well, not quite $2 move, but it's probably late. You probably should have bought it there like 15 minutes ago. That doesn't mean it's going to go up. You obviously use the low of day, which is this candle here, as your risk. If you're buying it just to hold, like I just want to buy it to hold, then you're not using any leverage, then you could just buy it right where it is. A few cents ain't going to make a difference. It just depends on your outlook. What are you looking to do with it? Is it an investment or is it a trade? Either way, I like it, right? So far, pretty much all year, the 50 has held support. Except here, you got a little bit of a bear trap. Then you got back above it, had earnings drop. This is a big bear trap. This entire move down on good earnings was a stop run. It was a literal liquidation event. That's all it was. You had good earnings on this day, and then through the Asian session, when the markets are closed, you dropped all the way down here and stopped out all these people. That's why when the day opened, it opened right there and had downside continuation because so many stops got hit, triggered. But smart money knows to buy into moves like that. It's a bear trap. And then it just straight up after. So here it is again. You're back into the 50. Now, on the daily time frame, the moving average has straightened out, which is typically not what we want to see all the time. So you could wait for a little bit lower, maybe. But anywhere in from like 102 to 108, I like it as a buy. A lot of people are getting out of tech and moving into smaller stuff, right? Because they made so much money for the first half of the year based on tech, just going straight to the moon. I mean, you got Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia all making fresh all-time highs. What does that say for bear markets, right? So if we're in a bear market still, which a lot of people will say, what is Nvidia in a bear market? Because the very definition of a bear market is 20% off the all-time highs. You're making fresh new all-time highs. You're not in a bear market. Now I do understand that the S&P index is being held up by tech. I don't have just the tech watch list, but a lot of stuff is up nicely. MicroStrategy up 3% on the day. That's based on the nice bullish impulse we just got on Bitcoin. Apple up almost 1%. I mean, that's what you want to see, man. Fresh all-time highs and continue going. Say bye-bye to the bears. I just think about that and it breaks my heart. So many people just straight selling every green day. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it. And then they lose all their money and they're like, why didn't I just buy it? Because you had a bias. And your bias was wrongo. Don't use your bias. Watch technicals. They tell you the whole freaking story. Once you got above this right here, there's your breakout. There's your pullback. That's your buying opportunity. Does it work all the time? No, it didn't here. It did break out, but that was a bull trap at the time. You made fresh lows. But then you had a new year. New year equals new trend. Always. Always. New year, new trend. Everything's new. Now, this thing's been running hot for a long time, and it is massively overbought, so I would not be a buyer now. You need a pullback, and a deep one, in my opinion. So, yeah, we were telling people to buy at the beginning of the year. As simple as that. All your favorite stocks. Intel, it didn't get that nice bullish like everything else did, but we got a retest right there. And people that follow me know that that is a buying opportunity. And you can't get no better than that. Look at that. Beautiful. It hasn't gotten that bullish momentum that we wanted to see yet. I figured people would rotate out of NVIDIA into Intel, or at least not rotate completely out of NVIDIA, but take, profits, because NVIDIA is at what, 400% almost, 300%? Oh, 187%. I thought it was up higher than that. No, almost 200%. Still fresh all-time highs. Now, NVIDIA, there's a big gap there, all the way back down to 317.44. So I wouldn't even be interested in buying NVIDIA, which I hold NVIDIA in a portfolio already from years ago, but still, I'm not, I wouldn't even be interested in buying it again for even a day trade until it got down to 318-ish. Yeah, but it's back to AMD. A lot of tech plays are coming off. AMD is definitely a tech play. Okay? But I like where it is. So for the next few days, watch to see if this price holds on a daily closing basis. You don't have to wait for daily closes, right? You just don't have to. You can watch hourly closes. If you start closing hourly candles under 108.09, or sorry, the price at it is 107.51. My bad. I was looking at where price is now, but the actual daily support is 107.51. If you start closing hourlies under that, then just wait. Wait for a new daily support to be formed. And then you watch from there. All right? So you just got to have patience. You just got to have patience. So, but I like this area. Or 105.82 because, like I said, you filled the gap. Is there any lower gaps? None that I see. I mean, this technically is a gap from there to there, and you didn't close it all the way. But just 3 days before you traded up there. So that's gap fillage. Gap fillage. Remember, a gap is only because the market closes, ladies and gentlemen. A gap, it just means that the market closes. There really is hardly any significance to gaps at all. Looks like Bitcoin is trying to hold that 5-minute level. That's your area for shorts if you're short, but it might have got a little bit scary right there, but we'll see what it does. I would love to see it close above daily resistance today. Right there. Because then we have what could potentially be a breakout. But it could also be a bull trap. It always is. It works both ways. You got bear traps, bull traps. You made a fresh yearly high, though. So obviously the trend is up. Yeah. That's what we like. All right, we looked at that. Is that the 08? Michelle says, is that the 0618 fib? Oh, she's talking to somebody else. Yeah, it was a good beat, Tom. I feel special. Do you think Dixie is bullish long term till end of year? Angry Bruce. No, sir, I do not. The dollar is bearish. Okay? Technically and year to date. It's bearish. Okay? So let me, or if I may, Angry Bruce, if you're still here, because we lost 15 or 20 people, but if you're still here, let me just reiterate. Your yearly opening range is a brand new year, brand new trend. So that's typically how trend traders, your money managers, they follow trend from year to date price action. If they're price action analysts like myself, right? And as you can see, you did make a higher yearly high here, right there. So as long as you were trading above this yellow line, if it would have found support here and gone higher, then yeah, DXY is bullish on the year. But as long as it's maintaining resistance, which it did here, you see how you broke above the yearly opening? After, might I add, making a fresh yearly low. So fresh yearly high, all the way to fresh yearly low. So what you need now, that's what they call a megaphone pattern. I'm not a pattern trader, okay? But that's what they call a megaphone pattern when you've taken out a high, then you go down and take out a low. So if it's going to be bullish, it needs to make a fresh yearly high. As of right now, you're closer to making a fresh yearly low again. And if you make a secondary fresh yearly low, then you will have a lower high, lower low on a yearly basis. So as long as you're trading under 103,663, the asset is bearish. On a daily basis, you can see that you retested the 50 on the RSI. Anything under the 50 on the RSI indicates that the bears have control of the asset. So even though briefly it was bullish, it just couldn't hold that bullish strength. It dropped back under. And this is the line in the sand. This is what matters right here. Because think about it this way. If you're a money manager and you manage billions of dollars and you bought the dollar on the first trading day of 2023 because you, according to your macro analysis, have determined that the dollar will close higher 2023. Well, you're underwater right now. And you've been underwater for the majority of the year. Right? For the majority of the year, you've been underwater. So, depending on how underwater you are, will determine whether or not you're going to close that position out. And also people that are like me that thought the dollar was going to trade sideways to down for all of 2023. We've been literally hitting the tops of it, just selling it. So what I need to see is a fresh yearly low to conclude my, for potential trend continuation. As of right now, you're sideways, right? You're not really in a trend, not yet. You got to take out this low. It just has to happen. Or if you find support here and take out this high, then the trend will change. It will be bullish. But as of right now, I'm bearish on the dollar. Does that mean I will continue to be right? No, but the longer you stick around, the more you'll understand that I'm not like your ordinary YouTuber. I'm an actual trader, right? I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just doing this to try to help people analyze price the right way. I'm sick of people looking at head and shoulders, inverse this, inverse that, freaking cup and handles, banana peel slippers, all these different patterns and candlestick formations, 3 baby bear patterns and all that garbage. It's all nonsense. It literally is. It's not even tradable. In order to be a profitable trader, you got to be consistent in the way that you analyze price and in the way you take entries. If you can't be consistent, if you're trading 14 different patterns, right? That's not consistency. If you trade head and shoulders and upward sloping spoons and whatever patterns, you're not consistent. So you're never going to reach profitability. You got to reach consistency before you can reach profitability. Right now, even on the weekly time frame, the dollar's bearish versus your indicators. But I'm not really into indicators. They're helpful for newer traders to identify trend. But the first thing you need to understand in trend identification is when does the trend start? And that will be January the 1st, every single year for the rest of your life. Because everybody is paying taxes from everything that happened before this date. Everything that happened back here, they already paid taxes on that, so none of this matters. What matters is where does price go from here? Because as money managers, as hedge funds, as anything, they watch trend, especially if they're trend traders. A fantastic person to watch if you're a trend trader is Chavaco Capital on YouTube, because he is an actual money manager. Yes, he has a YouTube channel, but he's just basically trying to help people identify trend. The way he identifies trend, the way I identify trend is different. He uses indicators, a lot of different indicators, but he's a macro guy. But also keep watching macro bearish people too, because some of them are very smart and they're just early. For anybody calling for a recession in 2023, I think they're just early. Could we get a recession in 2024? Absolutely. But as of right now, all the data that Nuber or Inbar or whatever you want to call it, I can't remember the actual name of the acronym, but they're the people that qualify a recession. So when NBR says that there's a recession or NBAR says there's a recession, it's a recession. And they don't just go by, 2 negative quarters of GDP. They go by a lot of other indicators. I didn't save those indicators, but I can get them for you and post them on Twitter. All of them are trending up. There's just a few that are softening right now. Yes, those also are the ones that usually soften before a recession happens. However, with asset prices and everything else must be considered. The dollar is currently sideways. We need a lower low or a higher high. But as of right now, the trade is to short higher highs or short spikes, right? The same way like we're trading Bitcoin by buying support because it's in an upside trend. You do the same thing. Now, here is one that literally surprised the hell out of me. Right here, Aussie dollar, right? Yearly open, made a yearly high, then it went down, made a yearly low, and made a fresh yearly low. So that is a downtrend. And since it closed a weekly above and then immediately made a trending candle to the downside, it looks like this was a bull trap. on Aussie dollar. So as of right now, until it can get at least a weekly back above the 50, the trade is to the downside. So any retest of 0.67420 would be a potential short opportunity on Aussie dollar. Notice how it's playing around with these little indicators today. All right, so anybody that shorts off of indicators today, Aussie dollar's testing the 21. All right, I'm going short. It's not 100% certainty, but I would almost be willing to say, I bet you tomorrow they get stopped out. I just bet it, because I used to trade off the 21. Back before I was profitable, I had done every strategy that you could read in a book. I would short the 21 and I'd get stopped out the next day. So, yeah, you got to watch objective price points. You can't do anything that's subjective, because once again, you definitely got to be consistent. So as of right now, the dollar's down, but this right here is kind of, to me, it's a little bit worrisome, because if the Aussie dollar made a fake out to the upside and is going to continue to be bearish, that could help dollar strength. Aussie weakness will play into dollar strength, because Aussie is one of the currencies that makes up the basket of the DXY. So just that. You got Japanese yen is very weak right now. Aussie, currently, it's bearish on the year. NZD is another asset that makes up the dollar basket. It's bearish. Literally, the only two that are bullish are euro and pound. And the euro and pound make up the majority of the dollar, which is good news. But yeah, I think the dollar is going to continue to go lower, but I could be wrong. Nothing is 100% in this game, but we do make pretty damn good decisions when we take trades. So hopefully that helps. Pound USD 3-month, death of pound long term. Yeah, I mean, the pound has been trading down for its entirety. Let's see if FXCM has more data. They do. And yeah, I mean, it's a downtrend for sure. Yeah. Yes, it is. So back to Oanda. You can see our trend line here. This was on a quarterly basis. We shorted the pound based on the fact that for 2 quarters in a row, it could not break out above that trend line. So we were watching one spot, 38310. That's the price we were watching for shorts. So if we go back into the daily time frame here, you're going to see just how many opportunities this asset gave us to short it. Here. You see how that works? Trade Talk uses objective areas to look for trade entries. Do you think we took this trade? The answer to that is, of course we did. And it was a doozy. It was a good one. I mean, I wasn't in it all the way. I ended up getting stopped out due to me like lowering my stops, but still, if I would have left a stop up there or even over here, I would have been good. And that's based on a quarterly resistance and that trend line. Now, trend lines are subjective, all right? Because watch this. This is magic. When I take it off logarithmic, boom. A trend line is freaking useless. So trend lines are subjective. We weren't shorting it based on the trend line. The trend line just helped with our short thesis on this. Here's January. Here's the open right there. And boom, down. That happened on the 3rd quarter of this year, 2021. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of objective price points, but currently 2023, the pound has been bullish. It's just been ripping faces ever since it made this massive downside move. I wasn't even looking for longs in any of this, right? I was waiting for this that day. Once that day happened, once it got out there, then you could have basically been looking for entries based on weeklies or dailies. It's your choice. There's a nice weekly bear trap. How do we know it's a trap? Because the very next week took out that candle's high. So boom, up she goes. This strategy works for swing traders, position traders, yearly traders. If you want to make one trade a year, you can literally. Just wait till January to make that trade. XAU 100. What is that? Oh, USD Turkish lira. Seriously, man? Just buy it. Just buy it. I don't care what price it is. Just freaking buy it. This is bad. This is very bad. If you live in Turkey, I really, really hate that for you. But obviously, don't buy it today. Wait for a support, man. You know how to do this. You've been with me a while, Ahmad. Wait for a support to be formed. Obviously, here's all your other old supports that could have been positions, but this is a massive breakout for the last 5 weeks. It's been all over the news. It's terrible. What's going on over there? Here's where the government intervened, and it literally lasted for like a year. And it was right back off to the races. That's the same thing that's going to happen to the Japanese yen if the BOJ does not intervene. The exact same thing, but the opposite direction. I mean, this is going down. The Turkish lira is going down. Remember, your base currency, then your quote currency. So this is the quote. Your first currency is your base currency. So if your base currency is bullish, that means your quote currency is bearish. So you can just invert the chart. How do you do that? Alt-I. There you go. That's what the Turkish lira looks like. The actual asset itself. Straight down. And like I said, if they don't do something soon, if the BOJ doesn't intervene, they're going to see the same thing happen. See? And it looks like it's going right back for that. Oh, yeah, XAU 100. Then we're going to wrap it up. We've been going longer than I wanted to go. XAU 100. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. It's nothing. I can't even pull up a symbol. XU. Sorry. My bad. Yeah, this is the Turkish lira. I guess. Or something. I don't know what it is. It's bullish. One bear trap on the weekly. That would have been the buy signal. So you gotta wait for a pullback. You could have bought on either of these 2 days, as long as your stop was under the bear trap low. So this one, would I buy here? No, because it's like so close to resistance. If price continues to go higher, then and only then can you watch that area as potential support. But you might get another bear trap, so keep that in mind. On the first week of it getting back down here, you could buy it, but just be careful because it might end up being a bear trap. Because they happen quite often. Here's another one right there. So their support You'd have bought it there, you got stopped out. Boom. This looks like a breakdown, so this brings in breakdown traders. Okay, it's broken down. Time to look for shorts. Nope. The very next week, took out the high of that candle, therefore making it a trap. Then you got a little bit of bullishness, but ultimately you broke down again. And then up she went. So this was a long period. This is a weekly time frame. I don't know what it is, but price action is price action. It does the same. It's very illiquid. I mean, as far as the gaps are concerned, hourlies look okay, so it's not that illiquid. It's just making a fresh high. So, like, I don't like buying fresh highs because fresh highs could be liquidations. Like right now, big money could be selling into that. It's not likely because the trend is up, but nonetheless. Ooh, so there's your yearly opening range on this. Give me a second. So you just made a fresh all-time plus fresh yearly high. You're definitely losing. That is definitely bearish divergence on the daily, but you don't have bearish divergence on the weekly. Well, I guess you do if you use that. Yeah. Okay, so this asset for me, if I was going to trade it, which I'm not, I would watch this right here. I need to see, at least for the next 6 days, does this thing get bullish continuation or not? As that will change the whole outlook of the way that I approach the trend. If it trades in this area, like say, you know, choppy for the next 5 to 7 to 8 days, and then drops back under, it's going to be a sell. It'll be a sell. Because right now you're in a megaphone formation. Again, you're making lower, you made a lower low right there. And then you traded up and immediately made a fresh yearly high. So people that shorted here were early. So just be patient, give it another few days. If it cannot maintain bullish momentum above that area, then yeah, it will be a short. And looks like that'll cover Istanbul stock market. Gotcha. GJ, new highs. Yep. All right, Beardy. See you next time, my friend. Let me look at GJ and then we'll wrap it up. Nice. Yeah, the Japanese yen is weak, so you can literally pick a pair. Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Oh, shit. Pick a pair, right? Pick a pair. Japanese yen is just weak as F. So everything trading against the yen is going to be up. Euro yen flying. USD Japanese yen flying. And the dollar's weak, right? But it's still freaking flying. It's coming into an area where it may roll over, but it's at this point, I would say it is very unlikely because the last BOJ meeting, they said they are not going to intervene. So if they're not going to intervene, then I'm closing that USD JPY short. And that short is from up here. So it's still in the money. It's just lost a lot of unrealized P&L. I realized a lot. Going to increase interest rate in the next meeting, which is next month, 35%. I'm sure stock gonna fall. It's possible. And like I just said, as far as the yearly goes, as far as year-to-date price action, if it cannot maintain bullish momentum above the yearly open, then I would say, yeah, I would be looking for shorts. Just on the technicals, not knowing anything about the asset itself. Just based on the technicals, it doesn't look great. I mean, it looks great like forever, right? But for 2023 is what we're talking about. We're not talking about anything that happened in the past. So yeah, just watch it for the next few days. If it struggles to get any kind of bullish momentum, then yeah, watch for a resistance and just try a short. You may hit it perfectly. And with that being said, thank you guys for being here. We'll do the same thing again Thursday morning. Make sure you're here. May be able to catch another trade like we did today. That's what we try to do in these live trading sessions, and we nailed Bitcoin perfectly. As far as stocks are concerned, all your tech stocks are still, they need to pull back a little bit. We're going to be watching AMD in the next few days, so let me put that on the watch list. Let me get rid of INJ because it's made fresh highs. It's going to continue to make, as long as Bitcoin is bullish, most of your crypto assets are going to be bullish. So you got to be careful on the ones you look to short. And if you are shorting them, make sure it's just for a day trade. And then oil is at monthly support, so you can't short oil just yet. All right, just yet. Because if people are going to start buying it, right here is a good area to look to be a buyer. But so far for 2023, oil has been bearish. So I would probably expect a breakdown, but we'll see. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.